This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Srinivas. So today we'll be starting off with the first session of the VLSI functional verification training. For some of you, it's a demo session. So this will be the agenda for the session. We'll just start off with the functional verification training overview. The course structure, the content, the course structure, and the evaluation process, and the course assignments. Then once we have got the basic idea of this, then we'll be starting off with understanding the VLSI design flow. Where does functional verification fit into this flow? Is what we will understand. Then third, we will discuss about what will be the schedule for the next few weeks and how the things will be progressing. Okay. First, let us start off with functional verification training overview. See, some of you might be attending for DFT demo session. I will give you the details regarding the DFT things later. Right now, I'll be focused on functional verification training. Now, the functional verification training is a 28 weeks course. If everything goes well, we will try to finish it in 24 to 26 weeks. Here, our idea is not to complete the course in a quick time. Idea is to learn the things in proper manner. That is the final goal. Duration doesn't matter. Irrespective of the duration, we should learn everything properly, because knowledge is what is really important. That is what ensures that you're able to get into the projects and you're able to execute the work on the projects. This training consists of following topics. What all topics will be covered in this? The content. We will divide this 28 weeks into 3 parts. Initial 10 weeks of training, or around 8 to 10 weeks, I would say. Later, 12 weeks of training, you can say 14 weeks, or you can say 10 weeks, you can say 4 weeks. Plus or minus 1 week might be there. Here it might become 4 weeks and it will become 5 weeks. So this is how, if you see, it adds to 23 and 28 weeks. During this initial 9 weeks, we will be learning ASIC flow. What is ASIC flow? That means what is VLSI design flow. We'll learn digital design advanced aspects, basics to advanced. Along with that, we'll be learning Verilog language with multiple projects. This is the plan for initial 9 weeks. Once it is done, the next 14 weeks will be majorly focused on system Verilog for functional verification. Here itself, we learn multiple things: system Verilog language, we learn AXI protocol and VIP development, and one main project, DMA controller verification, or Ethernet MAC, or universal memory controller, etc. There are such multiple projects are there. One of such projects we will select and we'll be doing. Why we keep switching these projects is, we don't want resumes to look similar. Let's say if we train 100 people, we don't want all 100 people resumes to look exactly same. They should differ, right? So that is where, by doing different projects, we can have your resumes differ from each other. Next, the 5 weeks training. Okay, along with this, we'll be doing Linux operating system with hands-on practice. During these 5 weeks, we will be doing UVM methodology, universal verification methodology. Along with that, we'll be learning Python scripting. Okay. After this 28 weeks, there will be quick revision sessions, mostly focused towards preparing you for the interviews. These can be both the things where we focus on soft skill training, I mean how to attend the interviews and how to answer the questions in the interviews. What is the right way to do that? Then technical training, technical skill revisions. This will be okay. For the people who are joining the institute for the placement support, they will be getting the placement support after this training completion. I mean, around this time they will start getting. I mean, initial once you complete with this, you will be getting the placement support. This is for the people who have joined the course for the placement support as well. So this is the training overview. During this period, we will have what is the schedule. We will have 6 days per week, roughly 4 hours per day. That's around generally based on request from one majority of the people. There are some people who have a request to do from 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Initial 1 to 2 months we will be doing as per the schedule. Later we might switch to a different timing. I mean, it can be either 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. One of this schedule will follow throughout this course. If there are any changes, we will keep you informed, but for initial 1-2 months this will be the schedule. Now this is about the training overview and the schedule. Please let me know if you have any questions. There are 2 ways in which you can ask me. You can unmute and you can ask me the question, or you can post your question in the chat window. But please do ask the questions, because since it is an online training, it is difficult for us to know whether someone is able to follow or not. So I request everyone to keep the session interactive. Please do not think what other person thinks. I mean, whether my question is good or my question is bad, or how the other person will think if I ask this question. Please don't think all those things. Whatever question you have, please feel free to stop the session and ask your questions.
Excuse me, sir.
So yeah, please tell me, Akshay.
Sir, there is Verilog languages, multiple projects. So how many projects will be there in this first slide?
I'll show you that. I'll just show you 1 second. It's not.
Sir, mainly we will use EDA Playground, or there will be some other tools?
I will explain that also. I'll explain all those questions. Okay. So the projects that will be done, if you go to the functional verification training for freshers, that is where you will find everything. Okay. So these are all projects will be done. The projects that will be done as part of Verilog will be these things. This will be done in Verilog, 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 Verilog. Even some of this will be done in Verilog itself. These all things will be done in Verilog. That is why we are spending almost 2.5 months just doing the Verilog only. Okay, now the next question, will it be done using EDA Playground or will it be done using some other tool? So initial 2 months, what happens is the tool. Let's talk about the tool. Till the time for Verilog course, Model Sim student version is available. which we will provide you with the link to download it in your laptop and you can use it. So don't think that if it is student version means it won't have any features. Don't think it will not have any limitations. For Verilog language, there is no limitation in that case. Then when it comes to system Verilog, initial 1 month, you will be using edaplayground.com. After that, once the coverage system Verilog advanced topics start, then we'll give you VPN access to the server to practice. If you feel that even during 1 month you need VPN access, we can provide. But my point is, during the initial part of the system Verilog, EDA Playground is good. Why we are doing this is, we want you to get used to how to use the model sim, how to use EDA Playground. We also want you to practice on the server, because when you go to the industry, sometimes you will be using server. Most of the time you will be using server. But when you go to interview, they will ask you to do the things in EDA Playground because there won't be any tool available. So they will ask you to open the internet browser, something like this. They'll ask you to open the internet browser, open your EDA Playground, and on this link itself, here itself, they will ask you to develop the Verilog codes. Means here you develop design and here you develop test bench. So sometimes what happens if you are new to this EDA Playground, see, some of you might be new to this EDA Playground, you might be wondering, what am I talking about here? What is that I'm talking about? What is that I'm trying to explain? So what we want to do is we have structured the tools usage in such a way that one part of the training you will be using model sim, one part of the training you will be using EDA Playground, that is system Verilog advanced topics, and UVM you will be doing through VPN access to the server. This is how tool access will be. Now, do you have any other questions, Akshay? Okay, when it comes, yeah.
Yes, Srinivas, so just wanted to request like 2 breaks in between for prayers for the folks that are joining from DSI. So it would be
Yeah.
great if one of them can be at 4 p.m. and the other is like around 5:20, 5:30 p.m. So that would be the prayer time.
Basically, by 5:30 we will be winding up the session. See, what we'll do is we'll take a break and we'll just discuss this way. The first
Okay.
break will be at 3 p.m. Second break will be at 4 p.m. Can we do?
Sorry, actually, I meant 3:30. I was thinking from our time. So it would be like 3:30 p.m., I guess, IST.
Okay, fine. So in that case, first break we'll take at 2:30 p.m. India time.
Okay.
Second at this break after that there's no break. I mean, we'll do from 3:30 to 3:45 p.m. This will be from 2:30 to 2:45 p.m. Is that fine?
Yes, I think so. There are basically 2 prayer times that are overlapping. One is 3:30 p.m. The other one, I think, in Indian time is 5 p.m. So that's the concern that we had. So is there any way like we can have like
We can
even a
address it.
short break?
What we can do is today we'll wind up the session by 5 p.m.
Okay.
We'll wind up the session by 5 p.m. So what is the one break you want? Please tell me. 3:30 p.m. Can you tell me in Indian
3:30 p.m.
timings?
3:30. Yeah, it's 3:30
Okay.
p.m.
So
One of them. Yep.
yeah. So anyway, we'll have this break because we don't want to have a very long session. We'll take this break.
Right.
Maybe for 10 minutes we'll take. Once we
Right.
start off at, then we'll take 3:30 to 3:45 p.m. From tomorrow, we can keep the session from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Indian time.
Okay.
We'll plan something like that. I will let you know.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. This we'll
Yes.
discuss later. Okay.
All right.
So this is about the course structure. So the next break will be at 2:30. Okay. So someone is asking a question. I want to do training in system Verilog, and what will be the duration for that? So the duration for this is system Verilog training will be for, as I said, it will be for how much duration? 14 weeks. If you only want to do language training, it will go for 7 weeks. The AXI protocol training will be for 3 weeks. the project will be for around 4 to 5 weeks. The main project will go for around 4 to 5 weeks. The person who asked this question, Aman, is it clear to you? The next batch of system Verilog training. Okay, system Verilog training is starting from 28th January, and I am the trainer for this course. Srinivas is the trainer for this course. I'll be doing multiple batches. The one of the batch I'm going to do is the Verilog and digital this batch, and I will also be doing the system Verilog training parallelly. Okay. Aman, does it answer your question? Okay. Someone has asked the question, what about the course functional verification training for experienced? This will be starting again 28th January. See, typically functional verification experienced means system Verilog plus UVM plus one scripting language, Python scripting language. This is what typically an experienced person looks for, Python from a VLSI perspective. This would again be starting from 28th January. Now, the people who are looking only for weekends only training, the people working professionals, you should go for e-learning course plus live weekends only training. E-learning means you get access to all the recorded videos of the course to watch for self-paced learning. So you can watch the videos at any time. Over the weekends, we will have the schedule from 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. both Saturday and Sunday. And this is the best thing that can be done. Otherwise, what happens? You are already working for 5 days, and imagine again sitting from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on both Saturday and Sunday. It will be very difficult. I mean, attending again 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on both Saturday and both the days will be not possible. See, for 6.5 months like that, regularly attending won't be possible. Hence, we have structured a course where you will be doing the e-learning course where you will be watching the videos anytime at your convenience, and over the weekends you attend the live training sessions. Next, Ankit, I hope it answers your question. Do you have any other questions?
So yeah, it
Yeah.
does answer my question. So this I can enroll at any point of time, right?
Exactly, anytime you can attend. So since it's e-learning, you will get access to the videos immediately, and over the weekends, every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday, we have these sessions. These here the topics will be revised, the revision of the topics, assignment solving, lab sessions will be done.
Okay, fine.
Rest everything is same. I mean, you get all the course material, the tool access, everything is same as the live training. It's just that since you are not available during the weekdays, you're getting access to the recorded videos.
And also the UVM training, it says that it would be for 5 weeks, but earlier when I inquired, it was said it would be around 8 weeks or so.
Typically what we do is, see, for a fresher, UVM, whatever is required, we will teach. See, UVM itself is two types. UVM essentials, which goes for around 4 to 5 weeks. UVM advanced, which goes for 4 weeks. Totally, it will be around 9. So for a fresher, this much is sufficient actually.
Okay.
If we try to teach, it becomes too much. It's like
So
the course will, yeah.
So for this experienced one course, so I'll be getting access to these 4 weeks as well, right? I'm looking for like incomprehensive training for UVM actually.
Yes, you will get access to the complete material. That is 9 weeks course. It's not actually 8 weeks, it's 9 weeks.
Okay, fine. Then it's fine. So this course, which is for e-learning, it comprises of 14 weeks of SV and 9 weeks of UVM.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you. That would be.
E-learning is a very good course because there have been people who have messaged me recently that just by system Verilog itself, they were able to get the placement opportunities. I mean, the course has been so much in depth that they were able to gain the enough knowledge to clear the interviews with this knowledge itself. So it's just the feedback I got from some of my students. Yeah.
Sure.
Next question.
Then I'll go ahead and enroll for this e-learning one.
Sure. Next.
Hi,
Thank you.
Srinivas.
1 second, I'll be noting down the question. See, for the other people who have joined for ASIC flow training, please excuse me for 10 minutes. We'll be starting off with that flow itself. I'm just trying to clarify the questions so that it will help all the other participants as well. For the people who have joined for DFT demo, we'll schedule the DFT demo at a different time. If you want to learn the ASIC flow, VLSI design flow, you can continue in the session. Otherwise, you can go through this link also. The people who are looking for DFT demo.
Hi, Srinivas.
1 second, Somashekar. I'll just address you. Yeah. So you can go to this link. You will see the demo video. Here you can find the demo video. This is good enough. Generally, what happens, the trainer, anytime he almost delivers the more or less same content. Even if he does a new demo session, you are not going to find much difference in the content. So in case you want to go through it quickly, you can go through this link. This is for DFT demo session. Why we do this is, what is the problem here is, generally the people who look for DFT training is very minimal. I mean, hardly 4 to 5 people in a month, or 6-7 people in a month. So it becomes difficult to organize regular demo sessions. So till the time we arrange a demo session, please go through this video. Yeah, Somashekar, you had a question.
Yeah. Hi, Srinivas. My question is, what is the video validity of the e-learning courses? How long we can access? And do we have any views limitations for that?
Typically, okay, the e-learning access videos. Okay, I will explain that. I'll come to that question as well. First, let's start off with okay, I have enrolled for DFT, so I have to go along with the course, or it will have different time. The initial 3-4 weeks will be same. Means ASIC flow, digital design, Verilog basics will be same, because as a DFT engineer, design for testability engineer, you will need this expertise. Along with this, we will be, once you are done with Verilog basics, we will be starting with Linux, we will be starting with TCL. Once it is done, you would start off with the DFT training, core DFT training. That is the main DFT training part. So this initial 2-3 weeks will be same. After that, it will be a different track. So DFT people will go through a different training track. Next, study materials provided in hard copy or soft copy. Currently, we are providing soft copy. I mean, where you log into the e-learning portal. So how does it work? We have a learning portal called as inskill.in. So this is our e-learning portal. You will be provided with login to this portal. So once log into this, you would get the credentials. So through that credentials, once you log in, initially to start with, you will have access to the Verilog course. You will have access to the digital design course. So once you log in there, you will get the complete course material in these portals. So here you can find the complete course material. Here you see the assignment, a detailed assignments, which covers all the aspects of digital design. And in fact, each and every question you see is what will be covered as part of the digital design training. In fact, it is old. This looks old. We need to get it updated. We have done the reorganization of this. We'll be updating that. Other than that, you'll get access to the complete presentation, like sequential digital design, sequential part presentation. So you will be getting the complete material here. This is for the sequential logic in digital design. The complete set of presentation you will get here. Other than the digital questions, session notes will be like whatever notes I'm writing. Like that, for every session, I write a notes. And not only me, many of my trainers per the institute process, they write their notes so that student can only focus on the session. Okay, we will be providing access to that notes also. See here, you can find the notes. Whatever notes that I have written during the training, that you will get. And the homework, then the I think sequential PPT is repeating, combinational presentation. Okay. So what is that you find in the e-learning material? You will get presentations, you will get assignments, you will get the session notes. If it is any practical things, you will get the lab documents and lab codes. Some of the codes also you will get. This is what you get. Now the question comes, hard copy. So we are working on this. I think this month, starting this month, we are providing the hard copy also, but there are some conditions in that. But we are working on a concept where we will be providing all the participants with the hard copy also, hard copy of the course material also. So if the question is whether it is a hard copy or soft copy, yes, it will be provided in both soft copy and hard copy. As soon as you enroll for the course, it immediately comes as a soft copy. Now, why the things are getting delayed with respect to hard copies, we have to courier the things. So that is where we are just thinking about how to go about it. But otherwise, the material will be available in both the modes. Now, e-learning access videos. Okay, there are two types of access. One is for the live training students. One is for the e-learning students. Live training students will have access to all the course videos, every session, access to every session for 1 week duration. Let's say I'm doing this session is being recorded. This session video you will get for next 1 week. Let's say today is 19th Jan till 27th Jan or 26th Jan, you will have access to this video. This will be uploaded to our e-learning portal. As soon as you log into your course, when you see view all courses, your courses, you will see a course, you will see one of the course where you will be able to see the ongoing live session videos. This is for the people who are attending the live training. This is being done so that you can revise the topics. Now you may ask, why 1 week? So that student should be as per the schedule, right? Doesn't make sense. 19 Jan I did and you are revising it on 1st April. It doesn't make sense, right? Whatever I have done on 19 Jan doesn't make sense of revising on 1st April. So hence we want to create that seriousness to the student that he should complete the time course sessions in a specific schedule. So hence we go with a 1 week duration. Doesn't matter whether you attend the session or whether you miss the session, you will still get access to every session video, both theory lectures and lab lectures. Everything you will get access to. Next. So that is for topic revision. And you will have access to this complete course material. Even if you get a hard copy of the material, you will still have access to the soft copy. Next. For e-learning students, typically access will be for 6.5 months, can be more or more duration. How it works is we don't provide all access at once. See, if I give all 8 courses, if I give all these 8 courses at once, you will be confused. You don't know which one to start. You will see a lot of things, but you don't know which one to focus on. So what we do is typically we give this part of the content access for 2.5 months or 2 months. Once you are done with these things, we will conduct an assessment test. This I am telling for both e-learning and live training students. So for the e-learning students, we have given access for 2.5 months. At the end of that, if you, based on your performance, you will be promoted to the next part of the training. This is phase 2 training. This is phase 1 training. This is phase 3 training. At the end of phase 1, we'll be conducting an assessment test. If you perform well, let's say you at least score 60% of the marks, you will be promoted to phase 2. Otherwise, you will have to redo things. We will again give a we will give you option to join the live training. If you are a live training student, we'll give you option to join the live training. Or if you are a e-learning student, we give you another 1 month access. Initially, we have given you access for 2.5 months. We'll give you access for another 1 month. So again, we'll conduct a evaluation test. So then based on your performance, you will be promoted to the phase 2. Now, when it comes to phase 2, this will be again given access to you for 2.5 months. The same process will continue. Once you are done, you will again conduct a test. Based on that, you will be promoted to the phase 3. So this is how it will go on. This is being done to not to trouble the student. This is being done to get the best performance out of every student. Sometimes, see, every student has different students have different learning abilities. Okay, so the different students have different learning abilities. See, one student may complete this whole thing in 6 weeks time. Another student may take 10 weeks time. So we are flexible with everyone. Let's say you complete the course in 6 weeks and you want system Verilog access. Yes, you can go for that. Let's say you are taking more than 10 weeks and you want to extend it for another 12 weeks, another 2 weeks, we can do that. So like that, in a phased manner, it will happen. The person who has this question, is it clear to them?
Srinivas, clear.
Okay. So in summary, the training will be in phased manner. At the end of every phase,
Srinivas,
there will be
one more question.
One second. There will be one evaluation test based on the performance. This is for everyone, both e-learning and live training students. Based on performance, you are promoted to next phase. Even if you have to repeat, don't worry. It is good actually. See, doing a 6 months training and not being good with anything, this is one possibility. Doing 8 months training, 8.5 or 9 months training, and good with multiple things, good with many things. Which one will you prefer? The first one or second one? Which one would you prefer? Spend 6 months, not being good with anything. You just did and without much deep knowledge. And you spend, instead of 6 months, you did 9 months of training and you are good with many things, multiple things. Which one would you prefer? Would you prefer first option or second option? I told you, I asked you to be interactive in the session.
Obviously,
I asked you to
second option.
Obviously, second one, right? So you see, teaching is like, my sessions should be like a storytelling. If I'm telling a story, you should say ha 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 ha. Something you should tell, na. Then what happens is I find it interesting to teach. Otherwise, I will go in my own way. So you need to. It is your responsibility also to keep the story interesting, right? Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
9 months. So institute runs on this philosophy. Where duration should not matter. See, I'm not telling that everybody's training will go for 9 months. I'm not telling that. If required, we should be open to extending the training for 9 months also, because we don't want to compromise on the quality of training. I have many students who have repeated Verilog, who may have repeated system Verilog. They have become good with the subject. Yeah. Now, Somashekar, you had some other question.
Yeah. What is the total duration of the recorded lectures?
Hours, it might go to around 500 hours totally. Yeah.
Okay. And one more thing.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, please tell.
Yeah, if any candidate clears the phase 1 successfully, and if he gets access to the phase 2 level, will that candidate still have access to phase 1 or what?
We can give access to phase 1. We will keep the phase access to phase 1. If we will keep it, there's no problem.
Okay. If you split this 500 hours, how much phase 1 occupies phase 2 and phase 3? Any roughly a rough idea?
Okay. I'll tell you. See, Verilog will go for approximately 70 hours of theory. I'm only talking about theory lectures, okay, here, not labs and anything.
Sure.
Verilog will be, digital design itself will go for around 55 hours. Everything is in hours. Okay.
Okay.
ASIC flow, and this including ASIC flow, it might go for roughly 50 to 60 hours. Okay. That's around 130 hours totally, digital and ASIC flow. So this is phase 1. The phase 2, system Verilog language will go for around 70 hours. AXI will go for around 25 hours. DMA, one of the main projects, will go for around 30 hours. That's roughly 125 hours. Phase 3, UVM, will go for around 40 to 50 hours, including AHB project, everything. The Python scripting might go for around 20 hours. Linux will go for around 20 hours. So this is how you can add up 130, another 130, 260, 230, others coming to around 350 hours. Yeah, this is how it will go for. This
Do
is
you have any
theoretical.
limitation views for the recorded videos?
Generally, there will be limitation around 1:1.7 times. I mean,
I didn't get.
around 550 hours total. We can extend it. Generally, we extend it. Typically, why we do that is there are times where one person takes and 3 people use, 4 people use. Just to avoid that, we do that. As long as if the intention of the student is to learn, benefit out of the course, and he doesn't want to misutilize the course, we can extend it to 1000 hours also.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. Idea is
Sure.
to just protect the resources a bit. Okay.
Oh, sure.
Sir, what about the lab sessions? Like these are also part of this, or they will be on some other time?
Lab sessions are not part of this actually. See, generally what happens when I teach Verilog, if you are attending my e-learning, these 70 hours are good enough. That covers labs also, because in these 70 hours I teach projects also. Even projects are taught in this duration. So lab session is where typically you will have the lab sessions over the weekends. If you are a e-learning student, you will have the lab sessions over weekends where you can attend the live training and get the required support. So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that is, let's say you go to Verilog course. You start doing this assignment. For example, there is an assignment 1. Assignment 1, adders, multiplexer and encoders. Some combinational logic assignment is there. You start doing yourself, but you have some questions in one of these topics. So whom do you approach? Those that support you will get in 2 ways. One, the support for the students. There can be 2 types of support. One is live training students. One is the e-learning students, or the weekends only students, right? Weekend students. For the live training students, there is a session every day. So support you can get in the next day, the following session, following day, right? Like I am answering all your questions, like the way I am answering all of your questions. You can ask the questions every session. In the beginning of the session, the trainer will clarify each and every question for you. We don't worry about what time. Let's say if the doubt clarification goes for one full session, no problem. In fact, we encourage students to do that. I told you one thing, right? Keep the story interesting. So what do I mean by that is, if I'm just teaching, the students don't participate in the session and students don't ask any questions and students don't do any homework, then the lecture story becomes very boring, and the trainer also doesn't find it interesting to teach such a batch. I mean, teaching to people who don't show interest, it becomes very boring, and the teacher can't give his best. How can you make it interesting? You can put effort. See, you don't need to be smart, you don't need to be very intelligent guy. You can just give the effort. You can show that I'm trying to learn, I need support, I have a doubt, clarify my doubt. So then the storytelling becomes interesting. So that is what. So what is that you need to learn out of this is, doesn't matter whether you are able to follow or not, whether you are finding it things are difficult, put your effort and keep the sessions interactive. Most of the times the big problem with online training sessions is people don't respond. I have to keep shouting. There are 30 people, I shout, please respond, and nobody responds also. That is where things become very difficult to manage in online training. So please don't do that. I mean, now the people have improved in many batches, so I suggest you that please keep the sessions interactive. That will help you. Yeah.
Srinivas,
Yeah.
what are the textbooks you suggest for this phase 1, phase 2, phase 3?
And there is no textbooks required. If you can just follow the lectures that we are doing, that is more than sufficient. It covers everything. If I go to Verilog, just an example. Let's say if I go to my Verilog training. Okay, I'm just talking about the Verilog language training. Okay, not even complete projects. It's only language. It's around 400 pages presentation. It covers everything that you can think of in Verilog. At least 95% of the things it will surely cover. So there is no need of any other textbooks. If there is anything, we will suggest you. As of now, I don't see any need.
Okay.
But if at all, there are some standards available. Bhaskar.
Yeah.
Okay. Morris Mano. The problem is Morris Mano. The problem I'll tell you. This book will only cover 25% of what we do. Bhaskar, I will tell you. This book also covers 25% of what we do. Now, no offense to Bhaskar, no offense to Morris Mano, because even I learned my subject through Bhaskar only. By referring to Bhaskar book only, I learned my digital design through Morris Mann only. But I have to tell you the reality that you will gain 4 times more knowledge by going through our course than reading through the Bhaskar book. You will gain 4 times more knowledge than in our course than reading through Morris Mann book. Okay, yeah. Now, does it answer your question?
Yeah.
Sir, about weekend student.
Yeah, weekend student. Okay, support for weekend students. See, what we will do is we'll create one dedicated one-to-one WhatsApp group. In that, trainer is added. So you go to the trainer for technical support. The admin is added for non-technical support. So if it is immediate, let's say it is stopping your progress, you are not able to progress further with the course, the trainer will provide you the support on the same day. If you are okay to wait till weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you will get the support on the weekends. So the support will be provided in the weekend.
For practice, sir. These weekends just for practice or just to ask doubts?
No, 1 second. Akshay, what is your question? Please tell me.
Sir, these for the e-learning student, these weekends classes are just to clear doubts, or these will be like regular classes?
This will be kind of regular classes. This will be regular class. I told you, right? Somewhere I wrote that this will be for revision. Topics will be revised. Assignments will be solved. The trainer will ask you to do the assignments, and he will support you. And lab sessions will be done. But again, e-learning course is more of self-motivate. I mean, the people who are self-motivated is suitable for them. People who don't have motivation and who wants guidance at every stage, e-learning course is not suitable for them. People who are self-motivated. Yeah.
But sir, your live course is not suitable for students of India who are currently pursuing, because timings are from 1:30 to 5:30.
There will be another batch after 2-3 weeks, which will be in the morning. You can go for that. There will be another batch which will start in the second week of February. That will be in the morning timings. You can go for that.
Aren't there any batches
which will start? Batch?
1 second, Akshay. Let me answer, Akshay. Please tell me. No. First, let me answer, Akshay.
Are there any evening batches which will start from 5 or 6?
So, evening batches are not possible, because generally what happens, the batch itself will be generally smaller in size. Around 25 people will be there in a batch. For that batch, again, organizing a morning batch and evening batch is difficult. Evening batches are not there currently. At least as a policy, we haven't kept right now. Because evening is the time where, as a trainer, we want to spend time with the family, because kids are there. We have to give time to them. And if we keep busy from morning 8 to evening 9 o'clock, night 9 o'clock, then there is nothing left in personal side, right? So we didn't want to do purposefully. We wanted to stop our work at 6:37. So that is where we decided we didn't want to do evening classes, because even otherwise I won't be fresh. See, the energy I am showing in teaching you at 7 p.m. I won't be able to teach you the same energy level.
Sir, for the e-learning course, once we finish phase 1, if we finish it sooner, would we get access to phase 2 immediately after we clear the exam?
Exactly, you will get it immediately.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Actually, my working timing is 7:30 to 3:30. So now I am confused, like which batch I should to join.
Okay, see Sonali, I would suggest you to go for any working professional, anyone who is working full time, any working professional.
I am working, but I am not working in the VLSI field.
No, whatever be the case, e-learning plus live weekend training is the best option for you. Because as a working professional, there is always a factor of uncertainty whether will you be able to attend a day's session or not. Okay, in those cases, e-learning will give you option to do the things at your own pace. And anyway, you have the live weekend training support where you can get all your doubts clarified. And the topics can be revised. You can list down, let's say you can list down the topics. I want trainer to help me with FIFO. I want trainer to help me with CRC. Any topic, the trainer will support you with those topics. But otherwise, if your question is there any batch which starts at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m.? Right now, no. We generally divide the day into two parts. Morning half, first half, second half. The first half would be around 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. kind of timings. Second will be 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. kind of timing. Here, based on a specific request, we have shifted the timing to 1:30. Otherwise, this is how we do the training batches. Any other question?
sir,
Again, sorry, one second. For other people who wanted to attend the ASIC flow training, please excuse me for 5-10 minutes. We'll start off with that. Yeah, please go ahead with the question.
how many times we can watch these e-learning videos if we are e-learning student? How many times a single video we can watch?
See, typically what happens is if the total course duration is around 100 hours, we give access for 170 hours of watch time. That means you can watch 1.7 times. But this is a notional number. If you want me to increase the time, we can do that. Typically, see, there will be some statistics, right? What is the statistics means? Typically, how many times you eat a food in a day? 3 times. The statistics is what? 3 times. Now someone will tell, no, I eat 10 times. That is not correct, right? Eating 10 times is not possible. So generally statistics shows that if the video is for 100 hours, people will need 170 hours of the watch time. That is what we generally do nominally. But if you need to extend it, we can extend it. There is no problem with that. I told you only one statement. As long as the person wants to do it ethically, where he doesn't share the login with other people and he only utilizes, we can even extend 100 hours course to 500 hours also. There is no problem, because at the end course is there for student to benefit. You are enrolling for the course. I want every student who enrolls for the course to learn the things to the best possible extent. So whatever is required, we will support you with that. Does it answer your question?
Yes, sir. Sir, my last question is, can you explain the placement agenda, how placement will work here?
See, placement, how placements work. Basically, the most important thing in placement support is not the institute, nothing. Your knowledge is the only driving factor. Your knowledge is the only driving factor. Initial 6 months, forget job, forget placements, learn to become, I mean, very good with the subject. I mean, you should become very good with the subject. Now, when it comes to placement support, what we will do is from the 6th month onwards, placement support starts. So the placement support starts by helping you with the resume preparation. We are working on a platform where it will help you prepare your resume, automatic resume preparation. We are working on that. It should be up in this month. Automatic resume preparation in a standard template formats. There will be some multiple templates. Through that will help you create automatic resume preparation will happen. Next, we will help you conducting regular mock interviews. Next, and regular evaluation tests and presentations, student presentations. Means you will be given some topic, student presents the topic, presents topics to rest of the batch. This is part of preparing you for the placement. Now, when it comes to the placement support, we have a dedicated WhatsApp group. Like, for example, DVH job support VLSI group. It's our WhatsApp group. Okay. You will be added into this group, and there we will be posting all the job requirements and how to apply. And these your profiles will be shared to the company, and they will take it forward. The company will take it forward. So once you get the placement support, generally you don't get further placement support because it's a one opportunity, best opportunity you can take. And your job support will be till the time you get job, till you get the job. But having said that, institute doesn't commit on 100% placement. Institute doesn't tell that you will get 100% placement. There are a lot of factors that decide 100% placement. How good is the student? I mean, how much effort he is putting? How is the current job opportunities? There are many factors that decide. So hence, just be, unless I know you, let's say Akshay is there, some student Somshekar is there, Shobit is there. I don't know. I know only today. I know you only by your name, right? I don't know how you are going to perform, whether you are going to put serious effort or you are just going to spend time without learning anything. So because of that, we can't give 100% commitment on anything. It is a mix of factors. If you can do this, if the person can put a good effort, they will surely get a job. Over last 9 years, we have been running the institute. There is no student who has not got a job. Let's say every deserving student has got job. Every deserving student got a job. What is meant by deserving? These are not super intelligent guys, are not super IQ guys, just normal average student having willingness to learn. That's all. Sometimes they go through difficulties because they don't understand the things. Even though they find it difficult, they still come to the trainer and ask the support. So basically, it's all about spending time and being proactive in learning. That is all what is required in this course. I don't know whether I answered your question or not. In summary, your training support, placement support will start from 6th month, and you will be added to a dedicated group. Through that group, you get all the support, and your support will be till the time you get job. It can mean 6 months, it can mean 1 year, it can mean 2 years. Whatever be the support, we will continue to support you. Okay.
Srinivas.
So for practice of
Hello.
for practice
Yeah,
of Verilog.
One
So
second.
for
Kumar,
practice
please.
of Verilog, which source we can prefer?
For practice of Verilog?
Yes, sir.
No, I didn't get your question. Please come again.
Sir, actually, for the practicing of Verilog coding, which source I can prefer?
You don't need to do anything. Everything will be taught from the scratch for you. See, what we will do is, if I start off with Verilog teaching, let's say, how it will go.
Actually, I don't have a
I'll
good basis on Verilog.
No, you don't need to know any knowledge. That's what I'm telling. I told you, right? You don't need to come. There is no prerequisite to the course. This course doesn't have any prerequisites. This training doesn't have any prerequisites. Just this thing, okay?
Hello, sir. Thank you.
I mean,
Hello, sir.
spending time being proactive. Okay, one second. I'll answer your question. Then you can ask me the further questions. How the Verilog training starts is, any Verilog training you take, it starts off with the fundamentals. Okay, session 1, session 2, initial sessions, we teach the basic concepts. then we move on to the advanced aspect. So it will be done in a phased manner, where everything will be done in a step-by-step growing complex. Initially, we'll be starting off with teaching basic combinational logic, how to write a AND gate Verilog code, how to write a multiplexer Verilog code, then how to write decoder Verilog code. Then we move on to the next complex level, so on. Finally, you will be doing the actual Verilog projects. So by the time you reach this stage, you are good with the basics. Yeah, now please ask me your question.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah,
I have
one second.
completed my MTech.
Yeah, please
Hello,
go ahead. Yeah, yeah,
sir. I have completed my MTech in 2017.
yeah.
What about my job opportunities if I done this one?
Actually,
There is
currently,
a 4 years of
VLSI,
gap is there.
yeah, it's fine. VLSI domain hiring is very good.
Yes, sir.
Even people with, I have seen people with 2013 or 2012 pass out, 2011 pass out kind of passed out guys also getting placed. There is so much hiring, so much hiring. The companies are not getting the people actually. Companies are not able to find even experienced people. Companies are not able to find even fresh graduates also. Okay, there is
Okay.
a scenario, that is a trend that is happening now. I'll tell you what is the trend that is happening in India right now. In VLSI company trend right now. The companies are hiring people. Companies are hiring freshers, fresh graduates. They are sponsoring the training cost, and then they are hiring them. Once after training, they are giving them permanent role. It is happening. Earlier, it was not happening. Companies were coming to the institute and directly hiring the people. Now what they are hiring? Companies are hiring the fresh graduates. They are sponsoring the training cost, and then they are offering permanent role.
So that gap is
Job.
a negative impact for me.
Yes, it will have an impact. It will have an impact. See, companies like HCL, for example, someone with education gap, let's say companies like HCL, Altron, Wipro, they will not consider your profile. Won't consider your profile. But then there are many other companies who will hire you.
Okay.
There are many other companies who will hire you. As I told you, if you can just focus on the knowledge, gaining the knowledge, you will have lot of opportunities, but then patience is required. See, nobody can tell you, let's say you're January 2022, you are getting trained. Nobody can tell you that by July 2022, you will have job. It may, instead of July, it may go till October, it may go till December also. It's all about patience.
Okay, sir.
Okay. But things are good. For VLSI market is good. It is going to be good because right, with the semiconductor investment from the Indian government and the companies setting up the
Yes.
things in India, I think VLSI activity should increase to some extent. That should create the more opportunities.
Okay, sir.
Hello,
Okay. Any
Srinivas.
other? Yeah.
And does academic performance have any impact on getting interview calls?
Of course. See, when HCL comes, they will say they need 65% throughout academics. I'm just telling 65% or 60%. Let's say Altron comes, they will say 60% throughout academics. So if you at any point of your career, your academics, you have less than 60%, you won't get that opportunity. Let's say AMD came recently, they said 70% throughout. Samsung, they considered 60. I'm just giving roughly. Microchip, and they 70% throughout.
Okay.
So there will be, but then you will face the difficulty in every domain. Let's say someone has 55% in BTech, that person will face difficulty in software job also. Even if you go to software domain, companies will look percentage there also. Even if you go to embedded system domain, you will find the difficulty. Only suggestion is forget past. Focus on now and become very good with subject.
Okay.
eventually you will get an opportunity. There are many companies who will hire. It is just that you may have to, since you have something was not good at earlier, you may have to start off with less salary. Like you may have to start off with a lower salary. Eventually, if you perform well, you will catch up with everyone else.
Okay.
Any other
And
questions?
one more thing, Srinivas.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
anyone does this course for the experienced people, right? You have a course designed for experienced people.
Yeah.
If they do that course successfully, how much years of experience can they match with that knowledge?
See, it depends how do you do the project. See, I can do the same thing in many ways. I am doing, let's say, DMA controller project. The same project can be done in many ways. If you can do this project, I'll tell you, if you can do this project with 90% of code coverage and functional coverage.
Okay.
If you can achieve 90% of code and functional coverage, you are as good as 4 years experience person in industry.
Okay.
That 90%, 90 to 95%, let it be. Around, you can say 95%. Let's be optimistic. 95%.
Okay.
Now, many of you may be wondering, what is this code coverage? What is this functional coverage? So right now, let me not get into it. Just I'm giving you an idea. Now, there can be another person who has done only 30% coverage or 40% coverage. That'll make you only as good as 1 year experience person.
Okay.
Means the point is what? By the time you take 40% to 95%, you gain so much expertise that to close the code coverage, to improve this coverage, how the verification is done, the quality of verification you have done, to reach 95%, you need to have a lot of in-depth understanding. I mean, how to create the scenarios, how to verify the design, all that. That will give you this much of expertise.
Okay.
Now, both the people will say that I have done DMA controller. Even this person will say that I have done DMA. This person also will say DMA controller. It's the quality at which you have done differentiates you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but to answer your question, you can be as good as 4 years experience person.
Sure, Srinivas.
Any other questions?
Srinivas, what is the fees of these courses?
The fees you can find in the website. If you want to go for, I think SV, you please refer to the website. That will be better. SV is, I think, UVM is around 14. You just check the website. You will get everything in the individual course pages.
Okay, sure.
Okay. If you go here, wherever I have opened, right, you can find here all the course details, schedule. I think the fee or somewhere I would have mentioned in the end. Okay.
Okay. Srinivas, is it
other
possible to get the PDF version of the syllabus?
PDF version, yes. Can you send a mail to training.vlsiguru with all your queries at gmail.com?
Sure, definitely.
Subject
Definitely.
the PDF of training content.
Okay. Sir, please send all modules, whatever the syllabus covering this course, 6 months of course. So you please send all the syllabus for our mail ID.
Okay, yeah. What I'm telling is, you please send a mail to training.vlsaguru@gmail.com. We'll send the training content in PDF format.
Sure, Srinivas.
Okay. Any other questions you have?
Can we get the PDF version of this meeting, whatever we did today, from the past 1 hour?
There is no PDF, right? See, where is the PDF? This document, I will share notes. You can take in this notes and you can convert it into PDF format.
Okay, sure. You can share the notes then.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Sir, I had asked about DFT, sir.
What is your
that
question?
That time your voice is gone. That's why I can't. Sir,
Yeah,
I have asked about DFT training that who will follow.
Yeah, as of today, there is no DFT demo session. As of today,
Hello?
I have shared this demo video. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes,
sir.
I told you that as of today there is no DFT demo is being planned. Based on the number of students that are interested in DFT demo session, we'll plan a DFT demo session in this upcoming days. Till the time, you can go through this video. So what I was telling is, whenever trainer does, he delivers almost the same content. Whatever you will find in this video, please go through this video. You have any queries, you can write to us. You can send us a mail. And in the meantime, we'll plan to set up the DFT demo session. So I'm sharing this link in the chat
Okay,
window.
sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
So,
Yeah.
so I have a question. So
Yeah.
you said that for live student undergoing live training, they will be shared with the content of recorded videos for 1 week. But
Yes.
we keep revising the things, so will we be provided with the training videos after that?
See,
Because
live training, you should be focused in the session. I mean, as a policy, we have kept it 1 week. Now, if you ask me, will it be provided beyond 1 week? No. There is an option where we charge a nominal fee. Let's say you pay 500 INR. We provide 1 week Verilog video access.
okay, so
Something like this.
for
Will be.
example, yeah. So for example, for phase 1 testing, we need to revise the content. So for before testing, at least will be provided or not like that?
Generally, as of now, we have not been providing. We can think of that concept. I mean, as of now, no. But based on the student request, and if we find that it will be useful, we will do that. I mean, we won't be worried about charging. We may not charge that also, because as a policy, if we come up with the overall for all the people, we won't charge anything.
There will be,
But
you will be sharing the presentation with us.
presentation,
That
everything is
PPT.
accessible here. See, PPT is accessible here. If you go here, whatever presentation I am talking about here is available here. Verilog language PPT, for example. You can find the complete presentation here. Let it come up.
So
You will
this is
get
access is for full 6 months, right?
not only 6 months, even after the course completion, you have the access for this. Till at least for 2 years, you have the complete course material access.
And sir, one more query. Sir, from what I have understood that for freshers, you will not be teaching any industry specific tool. Is this true? From what I have till now understood.
No. See, we have tools. We have Questa Sim tool. We have VCS tool. Okay. Questa Sim tool is used in Qualcomm. Okay. See, Qualcomm will have Questa Sim also, VCS also, NC Sim also. This also Qualcomm will have. Now, Qualcomm is the benchmark company, right? If at all I have to talk anything, I will talk about Qualcomm. So now we are teaching the tools that are used in the company. So this is from Mentor Graphics. Yeah, this is from Synopsys. There are only 3 companies. Other company being Cadence. We don't have any tool from Cadence. So you are getting this tool from 2 tools from the other 2 companies. That is good for you, right? We are not talking about any tool like Aldeck Rivera. There is another tool which is not an industry standard tool, at least as per my knowledge. We are giving a better set of tools.
Okay, so no, but I got confused at this point because we were told in the beginning that we'll be using multi-sim for some time and then EDA playground, and then
No, what I'm telling you. Yeah, I will tell you. Model Sim and Questa Sim both are from Mentor Graphics.
Correct.
Model Sim,
but sir,
and
they are open source.
No, Model Sim is open source. Questa Sim is not open. Questa Sim is a licensed tool. We need to have the purchase. So institute has the licenses. Those licensed tool you will get through the VPN access. So when I say VPN, it will be access to the tools. It will be access to Questa Sim tool and VCS tool. Majorly training will be done with Questa Sim tool only, because we have a lot of licenses for Questa Sim. So it will be, if you want, you can practice in VCS also.
Sir, will you provide the Questa Sim?
Yeah, 1 second.
Hello, sir.
Yeah,
so will you provide a Questa Sim tool because we will install in our laptops?
No. You can't install in your laptops. It will be through the server. You will get access to the tool.
Is there any student version or like that to install?
No, currently no. Only Model Sim is available. Questa Sim, I'm not sure. It will require a license because they, yeah. No, what I'm telling is they have spent millions of dollars to develop the tool. They won't just give like that, right? Because they need to earn money out of it. So they will give a only license.
So I have this question. So this training for freshers, in
Yeah.
this we will not be provided with the training on advanced topics and UVM. So is this true? For freshers will not be provided with this training?
Freshers will not be provided with advanced topics in UVM. That is not required. That is not
Yeah,
required.
actually this only was my confusion because only in these topics we'll be needing this Questa Sims tool, this tool. But before that, there is this is what my question was. But before that, we are not going to use any industry specific tool, right?
No, I don't know. I didn't understood. See, UVM has nothing to do with the Questa sim. Okay. Questa sim can be used at any
Actually,
part of.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll frame my question again. Okay. So till a particular point, freshers will not be provided with this UVM advanced topics, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And at the same time, only in these topics will be using Questa Sim, this tool, right? Questa Sim tool.
What I'm telling is, please listen to me. From here itself, you can use the Questa sim tool anywhere. Questa sim tool is
Okay,
not just.
so okay.
It can be used
Because
anywhere.
yeah. Sorry, I may got have confused with this point because in the beginning you were saying that in all these topics, till Linux will not be using any VPN based tools.
No.
I got
I said
confused with that.
till this part. System Verilog, initial 1 month, I said EDA playground. After that, SV, advanced topics and UVM, I said VPN access.
So this SV advanced topics will start from 4 month onwards or like that.
SV advanced starts training. See, it will start from the 3rd month onwards. It is goes for 2 months. It will go for 1 month. 3rd month it will start.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for
Sir, when
Any
clarifying.
will
other?
be, from when this training will be start?
It is starting today. I mean, today is the demo session kind of for you. From tomorrow it will be starting. Tomorrow it will be continuing.
Okay.
Yeah. See, my point is, for most of you who have joined this session as a demo session, once you have decided to take up the course, there should not be any reason to delay your learning, because even waiting for February end or March doesn't help you, because it only adds to the delay, right? So it is better to join the course sooner. It is better for you. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, Sonali Gupta. The video link for this session will be
Hello.
provided to you. Yeah.
Hello.
So
Yeah, Srinivas, Aman here.
Aman,
So
please tell
actually,
me.
I need to. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So actually, I need to ask a few questions. First is that can we use VCS for System Verilog course? The question is like first is that
You can use.
like
See,
because
what I'm
Hanji.
what I'm telling is, we will provide the VPN access. I will show you. For example, I open my putty.
Okay. And regarding System Verilog, I want to join the weekend course. Okay.
I'll come to your question.
Hanji. Okay.
So I'm just showing you. You can, once you get this access to the VPN. Okay, I can invoke VCS. Okay, I need 1 second. Cannot find VCS compiler. I may have to wait. VCS. Yeah, so there will be some options through which you'll have to learn. We'll be sharing the video how to use the VCS tool. So this is about VCS. Okay, similarly, you can invoke the Questa Sim tool and practice here. And why am I showing you this? Why am I showing this to you? Is to show you the speed. See, you won't find it's like working in my laptop only. Whatever I'm doing now, It is as good as working in my laptop only. So you will not find any issue with the tool as such.
Okay, actually, I need to ask like one thing. For the I want to join the weekend course. So for that, will that be a live session or you said e-learning? So I am
I
preferring
told
actually
you,
live session.
I told you two options. One is it will be e-learning course where you get access to the recorded videos. You get access to the recorded videos, and we will be conducting live weekend training for you.
What do
Why
you mean
is
by
it
live weekend training?
live weekend training? Means the live weekend training over Saturday and Sunday. I think I have put 1 p.m. somewhere. I have put 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. will be your session timings every Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, for the theory classes? This is for theory classes?
Yes, this is for theory revision classes, assignment solving, and lab session.
Okay, okay.
I will give you one scenario. Aman, please take one scenario.
Hanji.
Monday to Sunday. Okay, Monday to Sunday. I mean 7 days a week. I ask you to work from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. Is it possible?
No. Obviously,
It's
not
not
possible.
So, as a working professional, what is your scenario? You are already having office for either 5 or 6 days a week, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. Again, if I schedule Saturday and Sunday sessions, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., you won't be able to manage it for 6.5 months. It won't be possible actually. Initially, it looks exciting. Okay, I'm learning, but after 1 month, you will start finding it very difficult to cope up because you won't be able to spend that time to revise the things. So that is where what we have done is we have come up with a structure where we will only do it for limited time, for 3 to 4 hours on Saturday, 3 to 4 hours on Sunday. Rest of the time, we'll give you access to the recorded videos which you can learn at your own pace.
Okay. And in the like sessions, they will get to know like up to which point we need to complete the e-learning course, right?
The trainer will be telling you. The trainer will give the schedule. Complete these topics. Complete these specific topics in this week. That kind of guidance will be given.
Okay. And lab will also be the part of that time, 9:30 to 1:30.
Yes, lab will be part of it. But as I told you, e-learning is more of a self-motivated course. It should be, you should have a lot of self-motivation because trainer can't keep pushing you, right? Today you do this video, tomorrow you do this video. Did you finish this video? We can't keep track. Whereas live training students, I can ask, did you complete this project? Did you complete this assignment? That will be there. E-learning is more driven by self-motivation. But what we are giving you is a quality content. There are many times students have found our courses useful. I don't want to really do self-marketing here. People have found it useful and it will be good for you. Any other questions?
And
So
what
I
about
have a
projects? Okay, and like projects will be part of this timing only, or is it like external? Like
project
we
will be
have
part of this. If I go to this course, if I go to this course, let's say I went to my Verilog course, just an example. In the top, these videos will be there. See here itself, the projects will be present. One video is covering SPA controller. One video is covering I2C controller. This video, I don't know, I haven't put the topic name. We'll be putting, actually we are updating this video content also. Video content and the lecture names, everything. There will be some project here also. So initial part of the training will be focused on the language part of the training. Later part of the training will be focused on the projects.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay.
I think Sonali, you had some question.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So for front-end developers, syllabus is going to same or it will be different?
There is no front-end developer. Okay. See, we should stop looking from a software engineer perspective. In VLSI, there is nothing like front-end developer. In VLSI, there are three job roles in front-end domain. One is called as, actually 4 job roles. One is VLSI design architect. One is VLSI design engineer. One is VLSI integration engineer, design integration engineer. One is VLSI design verification engineer. This person is for architecting, coming up with the architecture of the design. I mean, you want a mobile phone, how my architecture should look like, how that overall diagram should look like, is what design architect will do. What design engineer will do is he develops the Verilog code, develops the Verilog code for design behavior, to implement the design behavior. I think that is what you are referring to, design engineer. Yes, these topics will be covered as part of our course. What integration engineer does, he works on to the integration of the various sub-blocks. For the people who are not able to follow, I will be explaining everything after the break. We'll take a break. After the break, when we go to the ASIC flow, we will understand all these aspects. So don't worry in case you are not able to follow some of these topics. Now, what does design verification engineer do? He does the verification, functional verification of the RTL code, the design that has been developed. Now, if your question is, are we going to do VLSI front-end developer? So this person is probably what you are referring to as front-end developer. So our course will be focused on this aspect and this aspect. I hope it answers your question. Any other questions?
Srinivas?
Yeah.
One last question. Sorry, I'm asking in the end. Can you please give a brief introduction about yourself and your professional experience?
Okay. See, my name is Srinivas. Okay, I am from Anantapur in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, and I have completed my dual degree from IIT Madras in 2005. It's a 5-year course where I have done my BTech and MTech. And since then, I have been working in the VLSI industry. Mostly, I have worked as a consultant or contractor, what you call consultant, at various firms like Qualcomm, Texas Instruments, Cypress, NXP, and what Rambus. Mostly these companies I have worked as a consultant or a contractor. So then I have started my training in our training institute in 2012. So 2012 to 2019 I have been doing job and training simultaneously, both. So in 2019 I have quit my job and full-time training. Okay. Now as part of this I do corporate training, and I actively do all the trainings in the institute. I mean, I don't do the top level management. I don't actually look into the management. I look into the technical aspects of the training in the institute. So that is what keeps the institute different. Generally, if you have heard of VLSI Guru, if you have heard of We Are Good from someone, it is because I make sure that I am completely focused in the technical aspects only. I don't look much into the managerial aspects. And I have expertise where we were able to set up some unique courses which are more industry focused. Most of the training institutes generally focus on 2 courses. One is VLSI functional verification, or one physical design courses. I was able to set up almost 15 to 20 unique courses which are more focused for working professionals.
Okay.
So this is about myself. Yeah. Any other question?
Thanks for the info.
Okay. So let us do one thing. Let's. I think the people we said the break is at. We wanted to take break at 3:30 p.m. Right? Is that okay with everyone if we continue for another 20 minutes and go for a bit longer break?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now we'll continue with the further sessions. Now we'll get into the little technical aspects. what is that we wanted to do? We have understood now what is the content,
Sir,
what is the course
please tell
structure.
the hello.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, please tell the 4 engineering domain, whatever you told, sir, and the
Yeah, I will explain
basic
that also.
requirements for each domain.
I will explain that also. That is what I'm going to explain when I go to the VLSI design flow. Okay. Then I have
Okay, sir.
talked
Thank
about
you.
evaluation process. We talked about course assignments. Now, do you have any
Okay.
questions in these things, or you have any questions related to today's session so far? What we have
No.
done. How about others?
Srinivas,
Yeah.
during the evaluation process, do you evaluate only the technical skills or even the aptitude skills are also evaluated?
Initially, it will be technical only. Once the training is done, it will be this thing also, aptitude also.
Okay, sure.
Initially, when we are doing, it is the topic that is being taught. Let's say I'm doing digital design training. Once we are done with digital design training, we will evaluate how you have done with digital design. So we will see the scores and we'll tell you why you have scored less, where you need support. That kind of evaluation it will be there. Once the overall training is done, the support will be, evaluation will be on all the aspects.
Okay. Will there any lab test be conducted, or it will be paper-based test, or what kind of test it will be?
It will be mostly paper-based test. Labs-based test right now we haven't planned because it requires a lot of resources. Generally, it gets tested when we are doing your live training itself. I mean, after 2 weeks, I can tell you who is who. I mean, I can tell you who is good and who is not good, who is putting right effort. Everything 2-3 weeks is sufficient for me. So I don't need any lab test, actually speaking.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, once I interact with you for 15 days,
Yeah,
I know how every student is actually.
I got it.
Okay. Any other questions? Now, let us get into the next aspect of the training. We'll do only for another 15 minutes and we'll go for a bit longer break. Okay. So we are going to understand. So this is, as you know, today's session is a functional verification introduction session. So it is good for us to start off with understanding the VLSI design flow and then understand where does functional verification fit into this flow. So first, let us start off with understanding what is VLSI design flow. Can someone tell me what is VLSI design flow? Okay. As the name suggests, VLSI stands for what? Very large scale integration. So what are we integrating? Can someone tell me? When we say very large scale integration, what is very large scale integration? What are we integrating?
So we are implementing it on a chip, the various transistors and the various functions they achieve, we all put it into a chip. So this is how we are integrating.
Basically, we are integrating transistors. So for example, a mobile phone, the one you have in your hand, you can take the mobile phone, you can keep it in your hand. The mobile phone has a chip inside it, what we call as system on chip, also called as SoC. It has got around 1 billion transistors. How many transistors? 1 billion, which we are, when converting into other crores, it is 100 crore transistors. Okay, so these 100 crore transistors this 1 billion transistor integration can't be done manually. Means what is meant by manually? If I take one transistor, what is this? Is it a BJT? Is it a MOSFET, or is it a FinFET? What is it? Can someone tell me?
The MOS transistor.
Okay, what is it basically? It's a NMOS. Okay, imagine connecting such 100 crore transistors. What results in my mobile phone? So what does it mean? I connect this to some other transistor like this. I connect this with this as input to one more transistor here. Like that, if I right now, how many transistors I have connected in this diagram? 3 transistors I have connected. Now imagine, is it possible to do that manually, to connect all 100 crore transistors manually? Someone sitting and doing here, this will go to another transistor, and this will go to another transistor. Is it possible to do like that? It is not possible, right? To manually connect so many transistors. That is where the VLSI design flow is automated using EDA tools. EDA stands for Electronic Design Flow Automation. Means the automating the whole process of designing is what we call as EDA. I mean, that whole process is what we call as VLSI design flow. The VLSI design flow starts with understanding the requirements. Starts with requirements. What do we require out of the chip? I mean, finally, let's say mobile phone, what do you require? I want this kind of display. I want this many megapixel camera. I want a USB 3.0 port. I want this kind of audio system. That is what we are calling as the requirements. That is what we are calling as the requirements. And it ends with final product being manufactured. And given to the customer. So where does the VLSI design flow start with? It starts with understanding of the requirements. It ends with final product being fabricated, by being manufactured. In between, it consists of multiple steps. At around 12 to 15 steps are involved in this whole process. You're getting the point? Between the start to end, there are 12 to 15 steps are involved. Let us take a simple analogy for this. A simple analogy. House construction. Again, house construction starts with what? Starts with requirements. It starts with requirements, right? Then it ends with what? When does the house construction end? When does the house construction end? Let's say you do housewarming ceremony. It ends. So is it like just like that it happens? No, right? It goes through various stages, multiple stages. And they are all done in a specific order. They all are done in a specific order. What does it mean? I mean, what I mean by this example is, you can't do, let's say painting has to be the last thing, has to be the almost last thing in the flow. Like this, like the way there is a specific order in which we do the things in house construction. Even in VLSI design flow, things are done in a specific order. Now, the whole VLSI can be divided into two aspects. VLSI work can be divided into two aspects. One is called as ASIC, one is called as FPGA. Can someone tell me what is the difference between ASIC and FPGA?
ASIC is basically we start with our own specifications. It's completely customer based, and FPGA is when we have an already designed muxes and everything, and we just program on it.
Yeah, that's very good. ASIC stands for what? Application specific integrated circuit. What is mean by application specific? So here the person, the person who develops, or the person that, or the team who develops, knows what they are developing already. Means, for example, I want to develop a mobile phone SoC. So when I target my development process, when we target my development specifically for mobile phone manufacturing, it is called as application specific, because you are targeting for a specific application, and it's an integrated circuit, right? Finally, whatever you do is an integrated circuit. That's why it's called as application specific integrated circuit. What is FPGA stands for? Field Programmable Gate Array. Means these are already manufactured. These are already manufactured boards. What you hear as Spartan, jet board, right? There will be various types of boards will be there, right? Already manufactured boards, we program the required hardware behavior on these boards. See, we are not targeting specific to any application. We already have the board. We program that board to behave like our specific hardware. We wanted some hardware, let's say mobile phone or whatever it is. We take the field programmable gate array and we program it in such a way that we get the required hardware behavior. Initially, if you see, this looks easy, isn't it? See, all you have to do is you have to purchase the board, you program it to behave like your hardware, specific hardware, right? It looks easy, actually speaking, but then this is costly. This is costly. This is cheaper. I mean, cheaper means if we are targeting for 1 million plus pieces plus production of chips, then ASIC is cheaper. If you are targeting anything less than 1 million, even less than 1 million or 1 lakh, definitely 1 lakh, 100% you will go with FPGA is cheaper. Now you may say, what about between 1 lakh and 1 million? It's a we need to do the cost calculations. Which one becomes cheaper? So both are achieving the same purpose. Finally, both of them are giving you the chip. Both of them will give you a working electronic product. This will also give working electronic product. FPGA also will give you one working electronic product. But the difference is, in here you start off everything from a scratch. In FPGA, you already have a already manufactured board onto which you program the required hardware behavior. So for a bulk production, ASIC is cheaper. For a small production, I mean less than 1 lakh, FPGA is cheaper. So the companies decide whether to go for ASIC or FPGA based on this requirement. Let us say, simple example, we have let's say a Indian Army, small example, okay, wants to develop some electronic product, they have some electronic requirement, they want some chips for some specific applications, wants some chips for their applications, their requirements. Now how many requirements they may have? Hardly 1 lakh pieces they may require. 1 lakh pieces, right? So there they will go for FPGA only. I mean, they won't do, right? They will go to BEL and develop 1 lakh chips for me. So what BEL will do, they won't develop ASIC, they will rather go with FPGA. Same thing, some other companies there, let's say Qualcomm, they want to develop mobile phone chip. How many mobile phone chips will sell typically? At least 1 million. Whatever mobile phone I'm using, at least 1 million such chips will sell. So what they will choose? They will go with ASIC flow. Because when to develop these many chips, ASIC flow becomes cheaper. To develop these many chips, FPGA flow will be cheaper. Okay, now typically ASIC or FPGA, whatever be the case, there will be two kinds of elements. Two types of components in any chip. What are the two types of components in any chip? Can someone tell me? What are the two types of components in any chip?
Active and passive.
Analog components, digital components. One type of components will be analog components, one will be digital components. Generally what happens, around 80% of the chip, 80% plus 80% of the chip is digital. So that means what? Around 20% is analog. And most of the opportunities as a fresher, you will get most of the, as a fresher, you will find opportunities mostly or 99% of times in digital domain only. That is because most of the companies who are looking for analog, they hire from top universities. I mean, some type 1 universities. So they generally don't hire from the training institutes and finishing schools. So you should be focused on learning the digital. So that means what? Our 6.5 months of training will be focused on digital domain, will be focused majorly on digital design aspect of VLSI flow. VLSI flow. What does it mean? What do you mean by analog design? See, where do they differ? What is digital design? What is mean by analog design? The analog design means some, you know, during your BTech, MTech, you would have come across operational amplifiers, differential amplifiers, ADC, DAC, right? You would have come across these things, PLLs, band gap reference, various circuits you would have come across. All these things fall under the analog design. So during our training, we will not be putting any effort on these things. We will not be getting into these things because this will not be useful to you, because you won't be doing anything related to this throughout your career. Let's say I worked in my job for 14 years. I never came across any of these things except for PLL. I didn't have to learn any of other things. Basic idea is good. Mostly my work was into digital design, digital aspects. So digital design. Now the question comes, digital design means, is it only the basic gates and other things? No, it's complete VLSI flow. Complete VLSI flow is what we call as VLSI digital design, digital VLSI flow. I would call it as VLSI design flow. Any questions so far? So we will take a break in another 5 minutes. Okay. Now, coming back to our discussion. So where did we start with? We started off with understanding that VLSI flow is two types, ASIC and FPGA. We discussed where do we need ASIC, where do we go for FPGA. Then we discussed that the VLSI itself can be divided into two parts, analog components, digital components. Analog components is around 10 to 20% of a chip. I mean, anywhere they are using these things, that becomes phi. Let's say phi is also analog component. This becomes the analog components. Anything other than that, what is digital components? Your processor is a digital component. In your mobile phone, processor will be there. Display system, display subsystem, USB, PCI Express, SPI, I2C. These are all digital components. These are all called as digital components because they don't require analog kind of behavior. Next, then at a bigger picture, we were understanding what is the VLSI design flow, where does functional verification flow fit into. Let us now understand what is the VLSI design flow. VLSI design flow is divided into two aspects, two parts. One is called as front-end domain, one is called as back-end domain. The majorly, it starts with the requirements. Requirements means how the chip should function. What is the requirements from the electronic products? What is the requirement? What is the requirements of the product, of the electronic product, electronic device? Next, with this, based on these requirements, we come up with the architecture. Means based on the requirements, we come up with architecture. Then we develop the Verilog coding of the design. That is using the architecture and design specifications. Verilog coding is done. Once Verilog coding is done, the Verilog code integration, where smaller blocks are integrated to get bigger blocks. Once it is done, we do functional verification. That is the domain I am talking about. That is what we are talking about now, 6.5 months course. The functional verification, verification of checking the behavior of the RTL code, checking the behavior of Verilog code. Once it is done, we do something called as a major step, very important step called as synthesis. During synthesis, what happens is the Verilog code above is converted into gate level format. It is converted into gate level format. I will explain all this thing through an example. Once we meet after the break, I will be taking an example. Through that, I will be explaining each and everything. Then it goes through physical design, DFT, static timing analysis. Physical design is about placing the gates. Basically, it's called as macros and standard cells into the die area. Into the die area. Die means our chip area. DFT stands for design for testability, where they developing the chip in such a way that the testing becomes easier. STA stands for static timing analysis, making sure that there are no timing violations. There are no timing violations. As I said you before, I'll explain everything in detail. Right now, I'm quickly writing the notes. Once it is done, we do layout. Then we do physical verification. Finally, fabrication. Then we do post-silicon validation. So these many steps are involved overall in the complete VLSI design flow. We majorly divide this into two parts. This is called as front-end flow. This is called as back-end flow. This part of the flow is called as VLSI front-end domain. This part of the flow is called as back-end domain. So we will take a break now. We'll take a break now. We will meet by 3:45. Is everyone fine? Those who are attending from DSI, are you fine with 3:45? Sanjay, is it fine at 3:45? Should we start little later?
Yes, it's okay for us.
Yes, sir. It's okay.
Okay, so fine. So we will meet at 3:45 p.m. That is India time. Okay, thank you. So for everyone, it's a break till this point.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so do you have any questions before we go ahead with the session? Okay, let's start with the quick revision of what we have discussed. We were discussing about VLSI design flow. We have understood that VLSI design flow consists of almost 12 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. If you list down, almost 12 steps are there in this. Okay. These 12 steps can further be divided into two parts. One is called as front-end domain. One is called as back-end domain. If there is a work happening, if you are developing any chip, there will be work in front-end domain also as well. There will be work in back-end domain also. It won't be like work will only happen in front-end domain, nothing happens in back-end domain. It won't be like that. So as soon as front-end domain is done, then back-end domain activities will start. What does it mean for the people who are looking for job opportunities? It means there will be, if the industry is good, there are job opportunities. There will be opportunities in front-end domain also. There will be opportunities in back-end domain also. So you should be choosing a course based on your interest. Now, let us get back to understand what is VLSI design flow. We will take an example. Through that, we will learn what is VLSI design flow. So let us take a simple example. I'll take very simple example. An example of a traffic light controller. Why are we taking such a simple example? Because I don't want to spend a lot of time to help you understand what is the design, because most of you are aware of what is traffic light controller. If I tell you I want to take PCI Express controller, it'll take me 2 hours to explain you what is PCIe, right? By then we will be done with demo session itself. So hence I'm not taking this. We will start with traffic light controller. So what is the requirement here is, in Bangalore city or wherever, any city, the municipal corporation wants to install 10,000 traffic lights. That is the initial requirement. I mean, that is where it all started. It starts with the requirements. First, we start off with understanding requirements. What is the requirements of the traffic light controller? Means how many lights should be there. So it starts with what? How many lights? Okay, generally we come across red, yellow, green. Okay, is there any other requirement? What is the duration? Duration for each light, each state. I mean, red, how much time? Yellow, how much time? Option to configure the time. Right, I should be able to configure red time from either 20 seconds to 100 seconds also. See, one of the junctions I may want to use 20 seconds. Another junction I may want to use 100 seconds. So they all become the requirements for us. These are all called as requirements. With these requirements, they approach a design architect. This is all happening inside a company. Already you are inside a company. Inside the company, they figure out what will be the requirements of the design. Inside the company, they will go to the design architect. Based on above requirements, the design architect provides the architecture diagram. Design architect is one specific person who develops the architecture diagram. Design architect provides the architecture diagram. Where he will tell how the design is going to behave. I mean, how the design components are connected, what all sub-blocks are required, how they are connected to each other, All those details he will provide as part of the architecture diagram. He will also develop the overall top level specification. What is top level specification? Means is a Word document, Word or PDF document, which has the complete design behavior information, design behavior details. I mean, how the design will behave, how many interfaces are there, how many sub-blocks are there, how they are connected. All that information will be part of the top level specification. So what happened? We wanted to install traffic light controller. That is, we want 10,000 traffic lights. We approached a company. What they did is they spoke to us and they came up with some requirements. They've listed down the requirements. Those requirements they're given to the design architect. What design architect did? He developed a design architecture diagram. Then this architecture diagram, we will start with Verilog coding now. What we call as RTL design. This is called as RTL design. What he does is he uses this person, RTL design engineer, takes architecture plus design specifications as inputs and develops the Verilog code, or VHDL code, which is the implementation of the design, behavior. So in this case, what this person will do, he will take a traffic light controller.v. VLSI means what? Traffic light controller.v. There is a specific style of coding called as, in Verilog we develop everything below module, traffic light controller. How many ports are there? Clock, reset, state, some other control input will be there. Let's say control input in module, input clock, input reset, input control in, output 1 down to 0 state. Like that, they develop Verilog code. See, right now, those who are new to Verilog, don't worry about this code. Everything will be taught from the basics. I'm just showing you how this Verilog code will be done. Typically what they will do, they will write always at the rate of positive edge of clock, begin, end. If reset is applied, at the reset generally the state of traffic light will be red state. Else they write a code. If the current state is red, then after some time, after some delay, count equal to count plus 1. After 50 units, next state will be yellow. Begin. Next state will be yellow. And count equal to 0. Similarly, if we write all the possible transitions. So what we are trying to do is, this is how traffic light controller behaves. Red, yellow, green. In the red, we need to stay for 50 seconds. Then we go to yellow. In the yellow, we need to stay for, let's say, 20 seconds. From yellow, we need to stay here for, let's say, 40 seconds. Then we again go to red. This is what we are calling as the state diagram. What we call as state diagram. So what this person does is, this design engineer, what this person does is, he develops this kind of code. This language is called as Verilog. That's why we are using the term .v. .v means Verilog coding. Like this, he will implement the code. And 10 to 16, Y6. What if it is in yellow state? Increment the count. When count becomes 10, see, for yellow it is 20, right? When the count becomes 20, when the count becomes 10, 20, next state will be green. Same way, if state is green, what is the count? For how much, what should be the count value? Can you tell me? Based on what I explained, what should be the count value? Can you tell me?
40.
It should be 40. Then where does it go? What should be the next state as per this state diagram?
Red.
It should be red. So who provides this diagram? See this, who is giving me these inputs? Can someone tell me? These inputs are, this is coming from design engineer or design architect? Whom do you think will provide all these inputs?
Design architect, I think.
Design architect will provide all these details. Using these inputs, the design engineer develops this kind of Verilog code. Okay, the design engineer will develop this kind of Verilog code. So that is called as Verilog coding. Now what happens? My traffic light controller is not just this Verilog code. It consists of a microcontroller. It consists of a camera subsystem. It consists of a traffic light FSM. It may require some other system also. This is what collectively becomes traffic light system, right? You're getting the point. Traffic light system is not just the state machine. It has got microcontroller. It has got some camera. It has got some other system, right? Which collectively makes the traffic light controller system. The person who takes this Verilog code, who takes this Verilog code and integrates everything, that person is called as RTL integration engineer. RTL integration means connecting the sub blocks to create the bigger design block. You're getting the point? This block is a microcontroller. This is a traffic light FSM. This is a camera subsystem. This can be some audio subsystem where the announcements happens. Right? Some kind of announcements are to be done. This can be that audio subsystem. So putting together everything is what becomes the traffic light controller system, right? That is where we have another engineer who does this. That person is called as RTL integration engineer. This person is called as RTL design engineer. Now the question comes, I have done the integration, I have connected all the blocks. What is the guarantee that it is working? How do I know that is it working, is it not working? How do I know all that? The person who does the verification is called as functional verification engineer. What this person does, who does the verification of this, we develop something called as test bench. TB stands for what? Test bench. They develop a test bench. So tick include tlc.v module test bench end module. There will be series of steps. I don't want to make it a Verilog training session because most of you are new to Verilog. So I don't want to complicate the demo session. Just remember that a logic to check whether tlc.v code is working fine or not, working properly or not, is what is implemented in this code. Let us not get deep into it, what will be done, how it will be done. As of today, let's not do that. So that part is called as functional verification. A test bench is developed to check the behavior of the design. The person who does this work is called as functional verification engineer. Once you have reached this point, you know that your code is working fine. Can we say that at this stage? Can we say that our code is working fine? Yes or no?
Hopefully, yes.
Right? Hopefully, yes, code is working fine. If you have done the verification properly, we can say that our code is working fine. Now, when it comes back to line number 297, in the Bangalore city, we wanted to install this 10,000 traffic lights. Can we give this code and ask them to use it as a traffic light? Whatever code we have developed, whatever we have integrated, can we give that Verilog code to my municipal corporation, to the Bangalore City Municipal Corporation, and tell them that use this as Verilog, use this as traffic light controller? It is not possible, right? We need to deliver this in, we need to deliver these things in a physical format. All the traffic light controller should be delivered in a physical chip format, not as a Verilog code. Because if you give Verilog code, they don't know how to use it. I mean, it cannot be used essentially. Okay, that is where comes the aspect called as VLSI backend flow. Till here, if you see, you might have noticed that till here, it is more or less same as software development and testing. Whatever we have discussed so far, it is very similar to software development and testing, because even in software development testing, and they do the similar flow. From here is where the VLSI actually differs. From here, the VLSI differs. Here comes a very important step called as synthesis. What is synthesis is, these are all steps are involved after it. Y14. Synthesis will come. What we do in the synthesis is, this Verilog code is converted into gate level format. See, right now we have written this using what? Always, passage, if condition, else begin end, if condition, count equal to count plus 1, if count equal to something. This is how we have done. When I give this code as input to my synthesis tool, when I give this as a input to the synthesis tool, it converts it into a gate level format. Finally, I will get a circuit which is in terms of AND gate, NAND gate, OR gate, like that. It'll give me the same code in a gate level format. That process is called as synthesis. That process is called as what? Synthesis, where your Verilog code is being converted into the gate level format. That process is called as what? Synthesis. That is a very important step in the flow because my code is actually getting translated into the gets format. Then everything whatever happens is called as the implementation flow, or also called as backend flow, which goes through various stages like physical design. What they try to do is, into the small area like this, they try to fit in 100 crore transistors. I mean, in case of mobile phone, see, my traffic light controller won't be so complex, but in a mobile phone they try to place so many transistors in a small area like this. That is called as physical design, because they're doing the physical design format. I mean, where to place this block, where to place this block, where this block should be placed. That whole planning they're doing here, that is why it's called as physical design. They're designing the physical area, how to use the area. Then there is a next aspect called as DFT, which stands for design for testability. What is meant by design for testability is, if I manufacture the chip at 5 nanometer level, currently what is the technology that is being used for manufacturing, at what is the latest node we are on currently? What is the technology node at which chips are manufactured currently?
3
They are at
nanometer.
3 nanometer, 5 nanometer level it is happening. So at that level, if they manufacture, what can happen is, there is a possibility of manufacturing defects. One request, once you have asked the question, you can please unmute, please mute yourself, so that there won't be any disturbance from your side. So what is DFT? As I said, it stands for design for testability. This what happens is, this is done to detect chips with manufacturing defects. It uses some concepts called as some techniques. DFT techniques are there. Those techniques are like scan, ATPG, BIST, JTAG. Some techniques are there like boundary scan. Various techniques are there. Using the techniques, they detect the chips with manufacturing defects. They can identify, if I give you 100 chips that are manufactured, they can tell 92 chips are good, 8 chips are bad. They can tell. So these chips will be thrown out. These 92 chips will be used. They will actually go into my final electronic product. That technology is called as DFT. It's a very important aspect, because we should be able to identify, once you have manufactured, which chip is good, which chip is bad. We should be able to identify. That DFT helps us do that. So once they have done the DFT, the next aspect is static timing analysis. STA stands for what? Static timing analysis. During static timing analysis, you might have heard during your digital design or some basic course, you might have studied about setup time and hold time for D flip-flops. Just right now understand that if any D flip-flop has setup time or hold time violation happening, setup or hold time violation happening, then it enters into unknown state. That is called as meta-stability state. If meta-stability state means, it's called as unknown state, where you don't know how the design is going to behave, whether the output is 1 or output is 0, you don't know. So the static timing analysis is about making sure that chip doesn't have any setup or hold time violations. So what is STA is about? STA is about making sure that chip doesn't have any setup time or hold time violations. What is setup time, what is hold time, I'll explain to you when we get into digital design, because if I start getting into it, we have to go to very basic level. So I don't want to get to that level. I'm just trying to give you a top level picture. So there is some concept called as setup time and hold time. STA makes sure that for every chip setup and hold time violations are not happening. And that is important, that is significant, because a chip can have 1 lakh flops, 1 lakh flip-flops. So with 1 lakh flip-flops, we need to make sure that each and every flip-flop is working fine without any violations. Even if one flop has a violation, the whole chip enters into unknown state. That is why even STA is a very important aspect. Once it is done, we draw the layout, we implement the layout for the chip. So once it is done, we implement the layout. The gates are converted into the transistor format, transistor level. We draw the transistor schematic, everything, right? We implement the layout. Once it is done, we do physical verification, basically the physical level checks. What is meant by physical level checks? See, generally your chip is nothing but transistors connected using metal wires. Basically, chip is, what is chip? Transistors connected using copper wires. Copper means metal here, metal wires. So there will be some guidelines will be there. How much should be metal size? How much should be distance between metal to metal? Some guidelines will be there. They are called as physical verification checks. Like one metal is going here, one block is there, another block is there, one metal wire is going here, there is another metal wire is going here. This physical verification tells us what should be the distance, at least how much distance should be there, so that there is no interference between those two wires. That kind of guidelines is called as physical verification checks. Once everything is good, once physical verification is also good, the chip is now ready for manufacturing. Now chip is ready for manufacturing. Then it goes for fabrication. Fabrication means what? You know, right? Silicon wave, lot of chips manufactured on single silicon wafer. It's like something like this. So you have a wafer. Wafer will be in what shape? Can someone tell me? In what shape wafer will be there? Silicon wafer will be in generally in what shape?
Circular, round shape.
It will be in
circular shape.
Right? Typically, one wafer itself can have hundreds of chips. So it will be like, I'll tell you, this is one chip, this another chip, this another chip. They arrange in such a format and they manufacture many chips at a time. These chips, let's say 100 chips are manufactured in a one wafer. That is where I said some chips can be good, some chips can be bad. Bad, why? Because some manufacturing defects can happen, some shorting has happened between two wires for some reason, right? Because they are at a distance of 10 nanometers from each other, they are at a very, very short distance. At these levels, there can be manufacturing defects. This is where we need to identify which chips are good, which chips are bad. That is done by post-silicon validation engineer. The post-silicon validation engineer uses the test patterns provided by DFT engineer to check which chip is good and which one is bad. So finally what happens? They do prototype checking. They check each and every chip will be checked. Each and every chip is checked. The good ones go into my final traffic light controller and the bad ones will be thrown off. That is how we end up getting 10,000 traffic lights installed in the city. So this is all that went into the manufacturing of that traffic light controller system. Now, this is being a small project. It can finish in 1 week time. We can finish off this whole thing in 1 week time. For a bigger projects like mobile phone or server SoC, the VLSI design flow can go for 6 to 9 months, depending upon the complexity of the chip. So there will be a program managers who coordinates this flow, who coordinates with different teams to make sure that flow is happening as expected, as per the schedule. You understood? There will be a program manager who coordinates with different teams to make sure that the flow is happening as per the schedule. So any questions so far? Did you all get an idea of what is VLSI design flow?
Yeah, actually, I want to know one question. Answer. After the DFT course, how much we are close to VLSI design?
See it again, how much close is it in terms of the duration? Is it in terms of the percentage?
In terms of knowledge, we can go to further for VLSI design also.
No,
Yeah,
in terms of the knowledge. No, can you please come again? You're talking from a perspective of learning the VLSI design flow or implementing the chip.
learning the VLSI design.
No. See, learning wise, DFT is like one aspect of the thing. See, if I tell you, for example, in house construction, simple example, there is a house construction. You learn how to do the painting. You only learned how to learn painting. So tell me how much percentage of house construction you know. Can you tell me?
Only 2%.
That's what. So what I'm telling is there is no answer for that. Someone will tell 10%, someone will tell 15%, someone may say 5%. There's nothing like that. See, these kind of questions don't have any answers exactly. It's about one domain you have gained expertise. Like that, if you can gain expertise in these things, you have learned everything like that. But if I have to give a percentage, since there are 7-8 domains, I can say around 10%. Design DFT flow is like 10% of the entire flow.
Sir?
Is it clear? Yeah.
Yeah, in DFT
Sir,
design, we will learn all the VLSI language,
No. You only learn the things relevant to the DFT.
only for testing
Because
purpose.
only for testing purpose. To basically, as a DFT engineer, you won't sit and do the testing. See, you will not take the chip and check whether it's good or bad. Develop the patterns. What they do is they implement chip architecture. They update the chip architecture. They update the chip architecture so that can be easily verified,
So
easily
I think
checked. Yeah, please tell me.
okay. I think learning VLSI, yeah, whatever you will learn to us, it is only as scripting, like just input, just command and see the result. Because the DFT testing is just input output waveform testing, something like this. We don't know about the internal block, what is happening. We will just check the input and what output we are getting, and then all the things like what setup time and
No. What I'm
uh,
telling, Chandra, what I want to tell here is, I want to tell you only one statement here. It's very easy to teach a person who don't know anything. It's very easy to teach a person who knows everything. It's difficult to teach a person who knows something but doesn't have any clarity. So it's not about just giving the scripting or anything. The DFT is a lot more than what you can even think of. As I told you, it's a lot more than what you can think of. So DFT engineers spends many years just to learn those techniques itself. Okay. So if that was the case, there was no need for industry to pay a 10 years experienced person. Roughly a 10-year experienced person may get 30 to 50 lakhs per year. An example, okay. there is no need to pay, right? If that was so easy, I can get 10th class student and do that work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I can pay him 200 rupees per day and he will still do the work for me. So what I'm telling is, someone might have told you something, okay, you might have taken a wrong understanding and you might have assumed that it is not like that. Everything has its own challenges. So if that was so easy, they don't pay, right? Why to pay? I mean, do the company have so much extra money to just throw it away? No, right? There, it has its own challenges. Every aspect you see has its own challenges. That is why people spend many years to learn the things and do the things. It's not just some scripting. I don't know what you said. I didn't really make understanding out of what you said because it was nothing relevant to DFT. But DFT is lot more than that, lot more than what you said. I hope it is clear to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't take
So
me
we can
wrong. Yeah, because I
so we can
talk this way
access
only. I mean, yeah, please go ahead.
beside besides the input and output, we can also access the some input output characteristics in internal block also, something like this. Internal waveform
Basically,
we can check.
it's all about wherever inside the chip, inside the chip. How many transistors are there? Tell me, inside the chip in a mobile phone, 100 crore transistors are there. The
No,
defect
no,
can
that
be
is
anywhere.
transistor level. That transistor we don't cannot be accessed. We just access the gates, block of the transistor like
What
gates
I'm
and
saying,
block of the gates. Yeah, some modules inside the chip.
please
We also
listen.
can access.
Gates are finally made up of transistors only. Okay, gate is nothing
Hmm.
different. Gates are finally transistors only. Let's talk only in the transistor perspective. So somewhere in the chip, some dot, there is a defect. So the DFT engineer should be able to tell that there is a defect somewhere here, and he should tell that this chip is faulty. Okay, now please ask your question. Is that clear to you?
Yeah.
So it is not like a magic. I run some magic and tells that, okay, here there is a defect. He has to run through some patterns which goes through this point and tells that the pattern is wrong. So that means somewhere here there is a fault. He detects that whole thing. So that technology is not as simple as what we can talk in few minutes. It involves a lot of advanced techniques. Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Uh, this VLSI design flow you just explained using that traffic light controller, will we be
Yeah.
implementing this in Verilog and
No,
as
no.
such?
See, I gave this flow to give you a bigger level picture. We will not be talking
Okay.
about these things anytime. We will not be talking about these things anytime. Now, generally, how the hiring happens in the companies. How hiring happens in companies. They don't want you to be good with everything. They don't want you to know synthesis. They don't want you to know physical design, DFT, STA. They want you to be good with only one and only one domain. That's all. For example, in my case, in my career, since the time I started my career, I have only done this work. I never did anything other than this. Actually, I never did anything other than this. I mean, if you ask me, did I do any time architecture work? No. Did I do any time physical design work? No. Did I do any time DFT work? No. Even I don't even know what was DFT. Just because I run an institute, I know what is DFT. Otherwise, as a functional verification engineer, there is no need for me to know in depth of anything else. Okay, so that means to say we don't need to go through the complete flow because we will be putting hands in some things where we don't need to know. I mean, even if I spend 1 week and teach you physical design, it's not going to do any value addition to you. Rather, we spend a lot of time in functional verification and become expert with functional verification, or spend a lot of time in DFT and become expert with DFT. That is how it will work. Is that clear to you?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other
Wha-
questions?
yeah,
Yeah.
one DFT is post silicon, yeah, pre silicon testing.
See, typically DFT comes into the picture both in the front end domain, back end domain. See, DFT implementation happens pre-silicon only. What DFT engineer does is he creates the chip architecture so that it can be easily checked. He generates patterns. I mean, he means DFT engineer. Okay, develops patterns, develops test patterns. Test patterns are something like this. I'll tell you a pattern, test pattern one, test pattern one dot txt. Small example. Okay. Like this, a very big pattern he will generate. Okay, big pattern like this he will generate. What he will do is, it is not like a randomly he has generated something. It is some very sensibly thought and sensibly generated pattern. This pattern will be applied into my chip. Finally, based on the output that he gets, he knows whether the chip is good, chip is bad. Like that, there will be many such test patterns will be there. The responsibility of DFT engineer is to generate this pattern. The post-silicon validation responsibility is to apply this pattern. He will get these patterns and he applies and checks whether the chips are good or bad. Did you understood? What is the role of a DFT engineer? So to generate these patterns, 1010, these kind of patterns, there is a techniques that are used. There are some techniques that are used. Those techniques are what we call as DFT techniques, designed for testability techniques. They are nothing but, I have written earlier, right? Those techniques are called scan, ATPG, built-in self-test, JTAG, boundary scan, compression, IJTAG. There will be various techniques will be there. Using those techniques, he comes up with this kind of many such patterns. Applying these patterns, they will be able to detect. See, if I apply this pattern, if there is any defect here, it will tell me that this part of the logic has gone wrong. Something like that. I'm not giving you in depth of the whole thing, but you should be getting a bigger level picture. This input, if you apply, output will tell me this is good or this is bad. Any other questions?
Sir, will this course include any projects?
Will this course, which course, please tell me, the functional verification course or DFT? So I think you are talking from a functional verification perspective.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Functional verification.
This includes multiple projects. The multiple projects are these things. All these projects that you see here will be doing from scratch.
So, sir, in this we are going to work on Verilog, right?
Sorry.
So in these projects we are going to work on Verilog, system Verilog, like on which?
See, here you are going to work on system Verilog. Here you are going to work on system Verilog. This will be done in UVM. This will be done in system Verilog and UVM. This will be done in Verilog. So basically, I told you, right, training is divided into multiple phases: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Initial phase, you will be working on Verilog based projects. Phase 2, you will be working on system Verilog based project. Phase 3, you will be working on UVM based projects.
Sir, you will teach like system Verilog and all. Actually, I don't know anything regarding system Verilog and UVM. I know Verilog, but I don't know anything.
We will teach everything from the basics of everything we are going to study. I will not keep any assumption in terms of what you know and what you don't know. We will teach everything from the basics. Let's say when we start teaching system Verilog, we will start teaching from how system Verilog differs from Verilog, why we need system Verilog, what are the data types in system Verilog, what are the operators in system Verilog. Everything will be covered in depth. Our system Verilog training is a very exhaustive course. I mean, just the language training goes for around 7 weeks. Our language training is for 7 weeks. That itself is around 584 slides. And each slide itself is very detailed slide. I don't generally create 3-4 bullets. See, many slides, what will they do is, this is how many slides will be actually. If you ask me, most of the presentations will be like this. My presentations won't be like this. My presentations are like a notes. You can see every slide has a lot of content, and like this we are going to we start from the basics. See, we are starting with what is system Verilog, why we are learning system Verilog, why we are doing functional verification, Then what is the problem with Verilog language? Then we start off with the advanced topics. So everything will be covered from the basic. Only challenging part I will tell you. See, I will tell you the good and bad aspects of our training program, that is VLSI Guru training program. The good aspects will be a very exhaustive course you will find anywhere. When I say anywhere, any institute take in Bangalore, India or world. I mean, I can tell because I know the institutes, what they teach. You will not find this kind of exhaustive course anywhere. Okay, we are partnered with almost 10 plus companies. What they do is they hire freshers. They give those freshers to us for six months. Then they put them in client projects. That is because the kind of course we offer, the companies believe in our course structure. We are even entering into partnership with Samsung, where they are hiring the people from different institutes. Let me tell you, they are hiring people from different institutes, and they are giving those freshers for specialized training to us. Okay, that is to tell you that our course is a very exhaustive course. Okay. Now, what is the bad aspect? Is things move very quickly. A lot of things done in 6.5 months time, and student needs to be focused, needs to be continuously focused. So what is mean by lot of things? What do I mean by lot of things? I'll just give you. Let's say you're doing digital design in your bachelor's BTech, right? You do it over 1 semester. The same digital design, not only same digital design, 4 times the digital design what you do. I mean, what we teach is at least 4 times. See, in your semester you would have studied what is basic gates, truth table, K-maps, De Morgan theorems. Right, that is where your learning starts. Maybe some basics of FSM. That is where your digital design learning stops. Whereas when you come to the course we do almost 4 times, 3 to 4 times, and this whole thing gets over in 2 to 3 weeks. So that's how every course will be actually. So that requires you to be continuously focused. So you are getting what I'm trying to tell, right? So why do I do that? Then you may say, why don't you reduce the content? Why don't you just teach only 1 time of digital design? Then there is no point of joining a training institute, because you are again anyway learning whatever you know from BTech. You are learning anything. You come to the institute to gain the additional expertise. The same thing happens with every other course, every other topic we do. Let's say we go to Verilog. We teach not just Verilog language, we teach multiple projects. For example, I am teaching the projects like this: SPI controller, interrupt controller, parallel serial out, asynchronous FIFO. The whole idea is to introduce you to the things that happen in the industry. I mean, generally, if you go to the industry, you will come across the terms interrupt controller, FIFO, SPI controller, parallel serial out. These are the terms you will come across. Even the terms like AXI, DMA controller. We want to make sure that this 6.5 months should be a very tough and high learning phase for you. Once you spend right effort in 6.5 months, for you next everything after that looks very easy, because once you have gone through this phase of learning, anything after that will be quite easy for you. So that is the only aspect. Otherwise, you will find a very exhaustive and industry standard course. Many times I hear from the people that they question, is it possible to do so many things in 6.5 months? We have been doing. It's just that it's the student's learning abilities what makes the difference. If student is not able to learn, what we do is we make them repeat part of the course and they learn the things better. Okay, I think I have answered your question. Any other questions? So now let's question this aspect. Where does functional verification comes into the flow? Functional verification comes into the, is it under VLSI front-end domain or back-end domain? Can someone tell me?
The front end.
It's in VLSI front-end domain. What is the skill set required for a front-end engineer? You should be good with digital design. See, because you are getting into digital design domain, right? You are getting into, not getting into analog domain, you are getting into digital domain. So you should be very good with digital design. Other than that, you should be good with Verilog, System Verilog, and UVM. Other than that, you should be good with standard protocols. What is meant by standard protocols is, if I take any electronic device, let's say mobile phone or laptop, the communication that happens inside laptop or outside the laptop, everything happens through a protocols, USB protocol, DDR protocol, keyboard protocol, or MMC protocol. Everything that happens even inside the chip between one component to other component happens through some protocols. These are called as on-chip protocols, peripheral protocols. So you should be good with these protocols, how this communication happens between the components. Other than that, you should be good with programming skills. Good programming skills means for that you should be good with this kind of typing. See, you might have noticed that I generally am typing quick. So I use some techniques. For example, I want to get skills. Some techniques are there which makes my programming quick. So that kind of techniques you should learn. Other than that, some scripting, programming skills, GVim, some text editors, Linux, and either Perl or Python scripting. And other than that, most importantly, you should have a good debugging skills. Because as a verification engineer, what is your role? What is the role of a verification engineer? To check if there are any defects in the Verilog coding, if there are any bugs in the Verilog coding, to check if there is something wrong in the Verilog coding. When you are doing that, you should be good at debugging, right? You should be able to figure out where something has been done wrong. So for that, you should have good debugging skills. This is all what is required for you as a functional verification engineer. Other than that, the basic aptitude should be there. The right attitude and right aptitude. Right attitude and the good aptitude. What is meant by right attitude? Ability to work as a team, spending right amount of time in our office, and ability to focus on what is the current issue rather than deviating and looking after something, doing something else. That is right attitude. What I mean, good aptitude means what? You need basic aptitude to understand the problem. You need to have some problem solving skills, is all what you require. Typically, our course is designed in such a way that we focus on all these aspects. And we try to divide this whole learning into multiple aspects. That is where I have mentioned about phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Okay. Is this how the training will go? So this is about functional verification. Any questions so far?
Or will this course also includes like Perl and Bash?
Actually, see how it works is, if you know Python scripting, you can learn Perl in 2 to 3 weeks. because there is no big difference between Perl and Python. Both of them are similar languages. So actually trying to do too many things, what happens is you don't become good with anything, because this is, trust me, this is a very exhaustive code. I mean, a lot of people find it difficult. I'm not exaggerating our course structure. A lot of people find it difficult. Even I have seen the people from NITs who join our courses, they also find difficult to cope. No offense against anyone, but even the people with very ability to spend lot of time, lot of effort have found it difficult. So we didn't want to increase the course burden. We just keep it to what is really required from a verification perspective. Finally, you are a fresher, right? You are not a 4 or 5 years experienced person. So whatever is required for a fresher or even from a little experience perspective are all getting covered here.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so that was our agenda of functional education training overview, design flow. Now let me just give you a plan for next 2 months. Plan for next 2 months. In case, I mean, for the people who have already enrolled, for the people who want to enroll, plan for 2 months. Basically, tomorrow we'll just start off with the basics of Verilog for next 1 or 2 days. After that, we'll be starting with, for few days, we'll start with basics of Verilog, just to understand what is Verilog, what is meant by Verilog code, what is meant by basic test bench, that kind of things. Once we are done with that, we will start off with digital design advanced aspects, the complete starting from basics to advanced. It will go for around 2 weeks. Okay, then once it is done, again we start off with Verilog, that will go for 7 weeks. That is how totally it becomes a 9 weeks course. Okay, once we are done with that, we will start off with system Verilog. I think I have given you the rest of the schedule, right? So we'll talk more about other schedules as we go forward. Both the courses, all these courses will be supported by a lot of assignments. So you will be submitting the assignments as per the trainer instructions. So the trainer will tell you where to submit the assignments and how to get the required support for assignments. Everything trainer will be informing you. You need to follow his instructions. I mean, in this case, I will be the trainer for this course. I will be giving you the instructions. So this is how it is. Any other questions? So someone is asking, what is the scripting language? Scripting language is a high level implementation. I will give you one example through that you understand. You just try to understand what we mean by scripting language. Okay. I have a requirement. Let's say my requirement is, I'm just giving an example why we need scripting language. My requirement is, I want to open every file. I go to this folder. Every folder I will go, in every file, in the top, I want to add this kind of heading. Every file I want to do that. But I don't know whether it is there here or not. For example, let me check. Here it is not there, if you see. Do you see the header, institute header is present? In the other file it was present. Do you see it was present here? Here it is not present. Okay, let us say there are 1000 files are there like that. In my directory has 1000 Verilog files. Each file updating, each file opening and updating takes how much time? Roughly it will take 10 seconds. Assume. So what I did, I open this, I open other file, I copied here. How many lines is it? 12 lines, Y11, and I pasted it here. So I've done it. Now I have updated it. I saved it. For one file, how much time it took me? Roughly around 10 seconds it took me, 10 to 15 seconds, assume. For 1000 files, Can you tell me how much time it will take? It will take 15,000 seconds, which is roughly 4 hours. 4.2 hours, right? 4.2 or something. Right? It will translate to 4.2 hours. The same thing, I will develop a Python script, Python or Perl script. It will take, if I run the script, so here also I have a script sequence. I go to this path. Where is that path? I go to this path. I went to that path. Okay. Now, what I will do in this case, I will remove this. I'll remove this so that I can show you the example. And I run it. I have a script somewhere in the back, in my home folder, in my material, it's there. This is the script which will add that header. I run it. Let's count 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 8, 9, 10. Let's see how much more it might go for roughly. Around 15 seconds now. Another 5 seconds, 20 seconds. Okay. It has almost finished the work now. It took half a minute. Let it come out. Yeah, it took half a minute. Within that half minute, what it has done is, if I open this file, it has done the update. It has added it. If I go to this, it has added it here. So what would have taken me roughly 4.5 hours to do, it finishes that work in 30 seconds. If you have a proper script to do that. So wherever we need to do repetitive activity, wherever we need to do repetitive activity, that can be automated by using scripting. Scripting languages, these are called as TCL scripting, Perl scripting, Python scripting, various scripting languages are there. So this is the benefit of scripting languages. Okay. I hope Mallikarjun, is it clear to you?
Yes, sir, I got it. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? So here, whatever I would have done manually, in fact, the same thing happened actually. Don't think that because I did 4.2 hours in 30 seconds, something we lost. Nothing we lost. Just my script automatically did everything for me. That is how we use it. Any other questions you have? Okay. So what I will be doing is, for the people who have already enrolled, I mean for the people from the DSI company or even other people who have enrolled, I'll be giving you this corresponding assignment on VLSI design flow, which will consist of around 30 questions. We want you to work on these questions and submit the solutions within 5 days time. The submit should be done to So any other questions? So we will end the session here. Any other questions before we end the session? And as I have told you already, this video, whatever we are doing and the future session videos will be provided to you. This access will be given to you on the e-learning portal. You can revise all the complete video on the e-learning portal. Will you share? Okay. Yeah, we will share this text file. Yeah.